if they don't make it to the finals, then this might be one of the biggest L's in NBA history.
Hot topics.
All right, well, I want to give you an apology. Tyrese Halliburton may have proved me wrong.
The best analysis.
But Jokic, he might be the best player in the league this season. He really might be the MVP.
This is the Full Court Report.
And we're back.
Sir. Feels good to be back.
Toby's back. Justin and I are back, even though we weren't really ever gone. What is this, episode 14?
Yes, sir.
Cruising along. Yeah, man. So we're just gonna chop it up. A lot going on in the NBA. Last week, Justin and I, we did, some surprises and disappointments, just from the early part of the season. But one thing that has kind of been a disappointment, I will say, and could potentially be getting worse, is the situation in Philadelphia. The 76ers are off to a rough start. They're 1-6 currently. We're recording this on a Friday, and they play the Lakers tonight in LA. So not the easiest win, and could be looking at a 1-7 start potentially. They did get the return of Paul George. He is back in the lineup. He's playing. He's healthy. He's played 2 games now. He played his debut against the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. And then his second game was him returning to LA against the Clippers. Again, it's been rough, but I guess the biggest news, Joel Embiid is set to return after a 3-game suspension, which is in a whole different story that we could talk about, but that's up to you guys. The Embiid is expected to make his season debut against the Knicks on November 12th. So he's back and healthy, apparently. Who knows? That could change. But
Or it will change.
Yeah, so what do you guys, just your overall thoughts on, in my opinion, I think this is just like the most interesting team to look at right now because, yes, they're off to a rough start. And, I think there was some stat in the last 25 years, only 3 teams have made the playoffs after a 1-6 start. So, again, not looking great at the moment. I'm not sure, obviously the play-in tournament has been implemented and it kind of allows teams to compete for the playoffs that, in the past, a team that wasn't top 8 just wouldn't have the chance. So, again, there's that possibility, but that's probably not where they want to be. So what do you guys think of the situation in Philly?
They're not cooked. I don't think they're cooked just yet, but it's not looking good. They do have 3 of, the most prominent names in basketball on their team: Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Joel Embiid. But it's one thing to have an injury-ridden roster, but when all 3 of the best players on your team are dealing with injuries, almost Tyrese Maxey's been, pretty healthy throughout his career, but the other 2 are known to be injury prone, have been for years now. So that's the only reason why they could be cooked, in my opinion, is because their whole offense basically is contingent on those 3 being healthy, and really just the success of the team. And if they're not healthy, then it's just going to keep, doing what they're doing. They're going to finish with a terrible record, won't make the playoffs. But if those 3 can stay healthy once Tyrese Maxey comes back and Joel Embiid is back, I think if they sneak into that play-in, playoffs come around, they're going to be just as dangerous as everybody had thought they would be.
I disagree with that. I think they're cooked. I think their whole season is cooked. I feel like even if you make the play-in, first of all, that if they make the play-in, they're going to be an early exit. Even if they win the play-in, they're probably going to be out the first round, I think. But it doesn't mean anything to make the play-in if, first of all, you're not going to win. You know, they're not competing for draft picks and stuff like that. And I think they're cooked. I think they're going to come back. They're not going to play at this rate for the entire season. Like you said, Justin, I think they most likely very well will make the playoffs. But as far as competing for a championship, I think those conversations are over. I think there's so many better teams right now in the East. And I don't know. I can't see them. I mean, Embiid is soft. Like he just doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that mentality. He's not playing back to backs. They're going to lose more games because of that. And that's just how I feel.
That's
Really?
crazy. You're sounding like me, Toby. You're sounding like me with that outrageous.
Yeah, you're really airing it out today, Toby. You feel fiery. You missed the last
Yeah.
episode.
I know.
I mean, I think where I stand on the Sixers is like I expected this team to be better when Paul George returned. I think to start your season with just Tyrese Maxey is just not what they wanted. And it's unfortunate that's how it started that way. I mean, their game against the Suns, and like at the end of the day, I feel like, it's still so early in the season. Yes, you don't want to start 1-6, but like to me, I like watching that Suns game. It's like that came down to literally Paul George, basically just missing a game tying shot that would have sent the game to overtime. It was a pretty good shot, like, just a midi pull up kind of like step back over, I think it was Grayson Allen. Something I've seen him hit probably like 500 times in his career, like not a shot that you would say is a bad one. So who knows? That outcome of that game was a lot closer than, but you still chalk it up as a loss. And then the Clippers game, it's like, I think they lost that game by like 12. And, it's a homecoming for Paul George, James Harden, former Sixer as well. Like there's a lot of emotion in that game. And the Clippers have been playing a lot, pretty well all season anyway. I think with Embiid coming back, everything could change though. I think he's really what this team is built around, Like as great as Paul George is, I don't think they brought him to this team to, kind of, take over this team and be the number one option. Like it's going to be Embiid. And not only that, I think their defense will get a lot better with him out there. They are a little small right now. So I think, just him on the defensive end is going to help them a lot, rebounding wise as well. But it just feels like everything is compiling. You finally get Paul George back in the lineup, and then Maxey gets hurt. Embiid's going to be coming back, but he gets suspended for like this really weird incident, with a reporter in the locker room. Like, it's just like, what is going on with this team? And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say like I'm counting them out forever. Like, yes, I know Paul George is, I think, 34, but he's going to be around, for the next probably 3 or 4 years. So, to me, you can never really count on anyone's health in the NBA, like at all, like fully. But if this team does manage to find, a way to get healthy and all play together, I mean, I think they can still be one of the best teams in the league, but we just haven't seen it yet.
Easier said than done. I used to say that about my big three in Brooklyn too. And we all know how that ended.
Yeah.
And it, all this kind of reminds me of how the Suns were last year with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. They didn't play a lot of games together, and then playoffs came around, and I guess you could say they were a little dysfunctional. So, for me, I'm hoping that's what happens with the Sixers. You hate to see players go down. I hate to see them be injured, but I love seeing them stink it up. I really do. Like, I really do. Seeing the Sixers stink it up. But that being said, I'm definitely siding with Jorie. When Embiid comes back, if even Paul George and Maxey are at 80, if all three of them are only at 80%, I still think they're a dangerous team. And of course, that guy Joel Embiid has to make his debut against the Knicks, but
And
He might ball
that's the start of the in-season tournament. Like that's the first day of those games, I believe. So that's a game that even has a little bit more motivation to players because it's
guy's going
something
to drop 60 on us.
that could potentially get them some money. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. This is just how the season has gone for the Sixers. It's if you're a fan of that team, then I'm sorry, but when you have Embiid, anything is possible. I think so. You just got to see him get out there, and hopefully he can stay healthy throughout the season.
Keep dreaming. It's just too hard. I feel like what other like finals team has there been a team where like players are injured throughout the regular season and then all of a sudden everybody gets healthy for the playoffs and they just go on a run? Like it doesn't really happen. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, not saying it will, but you never know. Maybe they're the first.
They could have a good upset in the playoffs, I think, but I don't know. The process is still processing.
The way that things are shaping up now, they could potentially in a first round matchup play the Cleveland Cavaliers. As they're off to a 9-0 start here. Maybe Philly is an ace seed at the end of the season. But yeah, I kind of want to pivot to this teams here. Cleveland has been fantastic. On the opposite end of the spectrum of Philadelphia, they have their best start in franchise history. Like I said, 9-0. And then out west, this guy kind of. I mean, it's him and this band of like the greatest 12, the deepest roster we've seen in like I don't know how many years. Like any guy that gets on the floor for the Warriors is making an impact right now. They're 7-1. They're tied for first in the West. I don't know. This feels like 2016 again. Is LeBron James like secretly like controlling this Cavs team? I don't know. But yeah.
They're actually playing right now, the Cavs and the Warriors.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that that'll be a great game. But I mean, what do you guys think? Like, not to say that this is a early season finals matchup, but I don't know. These two teams have been playing very well, and I mean, we haven't seen a repeat, champion in I don't know how many years, since the Warriors probably, and so I don't know. Could we see it again? Is Steph going to work his magic and get another ring before he dips? Everyone
that
was
would
saying
that would be insane. That would be insane. If we saw another Warriors Cavs matchup, I think my mind would explode. I can see the Cavs making it over the Warriors. I feel like the Cavs just have like a perfectly constructed team. And you know me, I love that guy, Kenny Atkinson. I'm going to give him all the kudos. He's a great coach. But I mean, their starting five is elite. And I feel like a lot of those guys don't get the credit that they deserve. Maybe it's because they play in Cleveland. But Donovan Mitchell, he's been hooping, balling. Darius Garland, I think, is a perfect like 1-2 punch right there. Jared Allen's, one of my favorite centers, obviously, because he played on Brooklyn, but rebounds, they're tough. They play great defense. So I can see them finishing definitely top 3 in the East. The Warriors, everybody's playing really well right now. I think they're going to kind of even out a little bit as the season progresses. Might be some injuries and stuff like that. But Trace Jackson Davis, I've been watching that guy. He's pretty filthy defensively. Like I think he's, especially for like an undersized center, I think he's really good. He's picking up tips and tricks from Draymond and stuff. And just overall defensively, I think the Warriors have been like one of the best teams in the NBA this year. So if they could keep that up, they're going to definitely be a scary team in the playoffs. But I feel like the West is just so tough this year. I feel like we say that every year. It'll be it'll take a miracle for it to happen. But I would love to see that finals. That would be crazy.
No, I'm not trying to see another Cavs Warriors finals. I will say, I completely agree with you, Toby. The Cavs really do look great. Like, they might start off the season breaking the, most wins in a row record. They might come out here start 25-0 if we're being honest. But
You could do it.
if we went to the playoffs today, I think it's an easy lock, Cavs Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. However, I don't think the Warriors would even make the Western Conference Finals with the roster that they have right now. You did say, Jorie, that it was a very deep roster, but when it's when it's just mostly role players, you can only depend on them so much. And I've been hearing tons of rumors about the Warriors trying to make a splash at the trade deadline. You know, could be Giannis if the Bucks keep stinking it up. I just saw a post the other day that the Bulls they put Zach LaVine and Vucci Mane on the trade block. So, the Warriors could make a move for a nice little star player to, put next to Steph Curry. They might be dangerous, but I think right now they just don't have enough firepower to really be a threat, even though, they're off to a fantastic start. But everybody knows the regular season is the regular season. Playoffs are a different animal. So I think right now they might be a favorite to make the finals in the West, but I would disagree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is such an interesting team right now because I think, I mean, at least myself, I think the Cavs, I kind of expected them to play well. I don't know if I expected them to start 9-0, but, I had pretty high expectations for that team. The Warriors, on the other hand, were just a team that I had completely buried. Like,
Yeah.
they lose Clay, and Clay wasn't even great or anything last year, but I just felt like losing him is kind of like an emotional thing to it as well. But they've been really fantastic. They beat the Celtics, which was an incredible win. Like, I feel like their defense has been really, really solid. Like, offensively, they've always had that Steve Kerr, just kind of flow offense, just move without the ball, a lot of passing, cutting, etc. And when you have, smart players like they do on the floor constantly, like, they're going to be a good offense regardless. But their defense has been really good, I think. Like, Jonathan Kuminga has been really solid defensively for them, I think. Andrew Wiggins is kind of looking like what he used to in the past. Obviously, you have Draymond still kind of orchestrating a lot. But, they also got guys like Gary Payton. He's been, obviously a really great defender. So, and Kyle Anderson as well, really solid pickup. I will say, like, this is definitely a regular season team. Like you were saying, Justin, like, they don't really have that top end talent outside of Steph. Like, you can never count out Steph, right? Like, it's Steph Curry. Like, he could go off for 40 in any game, honestly. But outside of that, they don't really have that really go-to guy. Like, I guess kind of like they've had in the past. I guess you could say it was Clay, maybe, KD at one point. But yeah, I don't know. It's they're just fun teams, and it's just funny. Like, the Cavs and the Warriors, like, I feel like we're reliving history again. I don't know.
I would lose my mind.
Justin,
It would do numbers. It really would do numbers, but
Yeah.
I'm not trying to watch that again, dude.
if the Warriors did get Justin, if they did get Giannis, they're making the finals. I don't
yeah.
care. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they're sweeping everybody.
Oh yeah. And then that guy Dame would get done so dirty if that guy Giannis pieced out. Be right back to he'd be on a worse version of the Blazers.
Nah, I feel like they would get rid of him too. Try to find somewhere for him. Just sell the whole entire franchise.
But
Just hit the restart button.
speaking of Giannis trade rumors, Two spots that I've heard of. I think we might have mentioned it here. I know Toby might have said something about Giannis going to the Nets, which
Yeah,
I don't think that happens. But he could go to the Miami Heat. That's another front runner I've seen for making a package for Giannis. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I don't. I'm obviously I understand the trade speculation rumors with Giannis, but I don't. I feel like they're not going to trade him. Like I feel like they're going to kind of let this season ride out and see what happens with Doc and Dame. I'm not saying it's going well, but I mean, like we said with the Sixers, um, like I don't know, anything can happen. And you can really turn your season around at any point. I feel like they can make a trade, make their team better. So it's, I wouldn't say the sky is falling in Milwaukee just yet, but I feel like that kind of is, they're just pressure is mounting, like you don't want to miss the playoffs. That would be worst case scenario. But yeah, I mean, Justin and, another team in the Eastern Conference, I don't know, your Knicks, not off to the best of starts either. I mean, what do you have to say? I don't know.
Well, first things first, I want to talk about what this guy, Bill Simmons, had to say on his podcast because he really does make a pretty good point. He really kind of makes a good point. So, on his last episode of his podcast, he was kind of talking about how he thought the trade for Mikal Bridges was a little questionable. He says, quote, "For what they gave up for him, for how little they use him, it's kind of shocking." He then goes on to say, he's like a 15 point per game guy. He just sits in the corner in crunch time. I thought he would be way more involved in their offense. He's totally right. The guy doesn't really do much. It just kind of feels like he's still on Brooklyn, just kind of out there getting shots up when he can. My question to you guys is, how do you guys feel about how the Knicks are utilizing Mikal Bridges? And what else can they do to meet these high expectations that I included had on them?
I mean, I feel like I don't know. I totally understand what Bill Simmons is saying with he's only averaging 15 a game or whatever it was, and he's not getting the shots. But and yes, it's like you gave up, I think, 4 firsts for Mikal. So, like, that's a huge haul for, like he said, like the offensive production. But you're also getting, huge defensive boost as well that, it can't really be, I guess, articulated in stats. In the same way that, just scoring can. I don't know. I mean, Toby, I feel like would be able to talk to it better, just watching him in Brooklyn last season, like what kind of offensive, creator he is, right? Like, do you just want him with the ball in his hands more than like Jalen Brunson? Like, to me, no. And then Cat, I think, is obviously there to score and, run through your offense through. He's a good passer. So, like, yes, I think the trade, the 4 picks, it's like, oh, yeah, he should come in and average 25. But that's not necessarily what they need from him. And I feel like, again, like I said, he definitely adds something defensively. And I don't know. He can go off for games, big games as well. So we'll see. But, Toby, what do you have to say?
I feel like it's a little bit harsh. I mean, we're only like 8 games into the season, and it's a couple new stars, so they're gonna have to learn how to mesh together. Obviously, and like defensively, he's kind of like a standout. I don't think there's much that really needs to change, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're going to put him on a team from Brooklyn where he was like taking the ball up, he was the only guy responsible for scoring pretty much. And then you put him on a team with Cat and Jalen Brunson, like obviously the scoring is going to go down a little bit. He's not that guy he's not the scorer on a team. but I feel like Knicks fans got to chill a little bit. Like he's gonna play better. I was even looking at like Jalen Brunson's stats. His stats are a little bit down this year. Defensively, y'all got to get way better. I feel like I, you're right now. You guys are a below average defensive team with Tibbs as your head coach. So I think the Knicks are going to get better. I think Mikhail is going to get better. He's got to figure out, he's learn that jump shot a little bit. Um, but with that being said, I appreciate you guys trading us all those draft picks. We also got Bogdanovich out of it, even though he's injured right now. He's going to come back to Brooklyn. Great trade for the Nets, and our future is looking really bright.
I mean, hey, you guys are have a better record than the Knicks right now.
Yeah,
And
we've been playing good.
All three of us have said that we really thought that the Nets would be absolute garbage, and they're playing better than the Knicks. But
Cam Thomas.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, Cam Thomas might be the best player in New York right now.
I think so.
But yeah, I don't know. It just I don't know. I don't even know where to go with this. I don't like our defense, Toby. You're right. I don't like our defense. I don't like the lack of depth. And I said it when we talked about the cat trade when it happened. As much as I think Cat brings a little bit more star power, I still think I'd rather have Randall and DiVincenzo.
Ugh. You'll see.
I don't
He'll get
know,
better.
dude. I wish we still had DiVincenzo. I wish we still had the Ragu, big Ragu.
To
I
me,
mean, yeah, I was gonna say like Mikhail, like even in Brooklyn, he barely put up over 20. Like I think he averaged like 20.5 or something like that. At least in the second year. First year he was balling out, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're gonna play better. Like they're gonna get better.
I think to me, I can't judge this team until I see them with Mitch and I see them also with Precious Achua, who I don't think has played. And like you said, Toby, it's interesting. Like kind of a below average defense with Tibbs. Like I think a lot of you're just missing a lot of rebounding there. And I think they're a good defensive team. Like I think they are a really good defensive team. Like they have really good on-ball defenders, but sometimes you just can't close out possessions with rebounds. And like it would help to have someone like Mitch, who's 7 feet tall, and maybe the best rebounder on your team, Precious, who's a really athletic forward who can get a lot of boards as well. So I think with those two, I think this team will look a lot better as well. But obviously, Mitch is going to be out for a little bit. But I don't know. Right now, I mean, I'm not like too concerned about the Knicks. I would say, like, I don't know if I expected them to, start the season anything fantastic. Like, yes, you made a huge trade for Cat, and you obviously want to compete for a title now. But you guys are also still like pretty young, and if you don't get it done this year, you're probably gonna have a couple more chances at it. And I think this team will get a lot better over time because you can kind of evaluate and make roster moves to build around them.
Well, that is a good point, Jory. That I wouldn't say like we're like right in the middle. We're not a young team, but we're not an old team. I would say I think everybody in the starting five is like 26, 7, 8, years old. The bigs, we're missing a lot of depth at our, center and power forward positions. And I'm pretty sure everybody on that starting roster is signed for at least 2 more years, I'm pretty sure. So we got a lot of time with, most of the guys on the roster to figure out something. I don't know. I just feel like everybody thought that the Knicks would be a lot better at this point, at least have a 500 record. We're not even through 10 games yet, but like, come on. I was expecting a lot. And I don't know. We've had that first loss in the season debut against the Celtics. That was embarrassing. We just got embarrassed by Trae Young again in MSG. Like, we're out here getting embarrassed, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean it's like you said, it's not even 10 games. I think you play the Bucks tonight, so that could be it. Who knows? That could be an easy win.
Well,
But
knowing
you
the
never
Knicks is
know.
probably going
Maybe
to be the Bucks' second win of the season.
yeah. So I don't know.
Here, let's check.
Um,
Let's check that little box score right about now.
32-27, New York up. So there you go. Off to a good start. I think I don't know. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about the Knicks. I think you guys will figure it out.
Just to go back to the Warriors and the Cavs. The Cavs are currently up 55-27 with 8.5 minutes left in the half.
Oof. Yeah, live updates here. And there you go. But yeah. I think we kind of parsed through everything we wanted to talk about. I think you mentioned, Justin, you had a little
Yeah,
game.
a little game. So, um, you guys can team up. These aren't particularly hard, but they should be a little bit of a challenge. So I don't know really what to call this game. It's just gonna kind of be like who doesn't belong. I'm gonna name 5 players, and you just gotta find the guy who doesn't belong, and tell me why he doesn't belong. Now, if you guess the player correctly, but if you give the wrong explanation, you're not getting the W. So
All
you
right.
gotta figure out why they don't belong after you figure out who doesn't belong. So the first group of players I have Cade Cunningham, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Ben Simmons.
All right. So we have to figure out who doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Toby, I'm going. My first instinct is that it's not Luca because he wasn't the top pick, first overall. Because all the other guys went first, I think. Right?
That's
Ben
what I was
Simmons?
thinking too. I was thinking first overalls.
I think is that. So are we gonna lock it in here? So Luca's the odd man out,
Yes,
and it's
sir.
because he wasn't number one.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right,
Good
there
stuff.
you go.
Good stuff. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and make it a little bit more challenging, but maybe you guys will snipe through these. This one is also it's a little bit more challenging than the last one, I feel like, but who knows? You guys might get it right off the bat. So the second group of players is Mike Conley, Chris Bosh, Domantas Sabonis, Julius Randle, and Trae Young.
Ooh,
Damn, I don't know. You said Mike Conley, Chris Bosh,
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle, Sabonis, and Trae Young.
well,
Wow.
Bosch is the only guy that's retired. I
Okay.
don't think that would be it, but
I mean, hey, that's not a bad one. Randle, Sabonis. You named 3 power forwards in a row, or I guess 3 big men, and then you said Trae Young. I was like, that could have been too easy. I don't know.
so
It's tough.
Jorie, I think all those guys have been all stars except for Mike Conley. Has Mike Conley been
Mike
an all star?
I think he's been an all-star. I think he
Did he
was.
get one? All
I
right.
think he did. I think when he was in Utah, I want to say. Ah.
Damn.
I don't know. I'm thinking also like lottery picks, maybe. I don't know if Sabonis was a lottery pick. I think he might have been though. I don't know, Toby. Do we just mail it in and just say Chris Bosh because he's retired?
I mean, I don't think it would be that obvious.
I don't think it is either, but I can't think of anything else.
I can't believe
stumped.
you guys are taking this long, honestly.
Randall, Sabonis. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's anybody like that they've all played with or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with like teams they played for.
I don't think it has to do with size. I don't think it has to do with stats. All stars, no.
Chris Bosh is what's throwing me off
Yeah.
because I really don't know. I don't know, Toby.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I think I'm
You
done.
guys are passing?
I think so.
Chris Bosh because he's retired. That's our final answer.
The player who does not belong is Trae Young because he's the only one who's not a left-handed shooter.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Wow,
I was
I'm
not thinking
surprised
that
you
way
guys
at
didn't
all.
get that one. I was close to just picking the first two guys that I thought of and saying James Harden and Manu Ginobili, but I feel like when you think of those two in the same category, you automatically go lefty.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tried to
You got
trick
me
you.
with that.
Tried to trick you. Yeah.
Chris Bosh. Shout out Chris Bosh. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, number 3. These group of players. This one, honestly, this one might be easier than the last one compared to how you guys, didn't get it. But this group of players is Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony, Derrick Rose, Jalen Brunson, and Kevin Love.
Oof. AD, Mello, D Rose, Jalen Brunson, and who was the last one you said?
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love. Oof. Yeah. Huh.
AD and K Love have won the finals.
Okay. I mean, Derrick Rose is the only MVP, I think. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be that. Could be that. The way Justin's smirking makes you think it is that, but I don't know. What do you think, Tobe?
I don't know. Derrick Rose is the only player that won MVP. So I'm trying to read Justin's face.
I feel like it's that one, but he put in Mello, so it could be Mello for some reason. But I think it's the Derrick Rose one. I think that's my answer. What do you think, Tobe?
Carmelo's throwing me off. Carmelo's throwing me off a little bit. What was it that you said, Jorie?
Derrick Rose, MVP. Only one. He's the odd man out.
Is it Derrick Rose MVP?
No.
All right, wait. All right.
Oh, and he just says, well, now you got to say it because now Toby knows it's not that.
You guys are passing?
I feel like this one's like they all played with somebody except for somebody.
They all played with LeBron except for Jalen Brunson.
Ooh. They all played with LeBron except for Jalen Brunson.
Is that your final answer?
Jorie?
I mean, I already said mine, I thought, but I was wrong.
All right,
But
yeah, it's
You
final
can-
answer.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Brunson's the only one who hasn't played with LeBron.
Yep. Well, there you go.
I can't believe you guys didn't get that lefty one. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for you.
All right, that was good.
I don't know. I don't know how long we've been recording this episode for, but if we feel like we should do a little something, I can get a random team wheel bussing.
Do
I
that.
don't
We could do a sporkle if you want.
A sporkle. Ha.
I don't know. I mean, we've been going. I think it's probably at the hour mark or so. So that's
All right, we'll save another game. We'll save another game for another episode then.
Yeah, but you know, good stuff. Good episode. I think I mentioned at some point in this episode, the in-season tournament will have started. By next week. So look out for those courts because they will hurt your eyes.
Yeah, that terrible
yeah.
Knicks court.
But yeah. Until then, we'll be seeing you.